The Jews killed Jesus. The Jews killed Muhammad, my friend.
A Jewish woman.
So, it's like consistency never even occurs to the Muslims. It never occurs to Muslims, hey, I should think about what I'm saying, make sure it's consistent, make sure I'm not being illogical, make sure I'm not contradicting myself, and then I'll speak. It's just whatever I can throw at Christianity. No matter how much it would destroy Islam, I just keep throwing it.
It seems that they're desperate. But let's see. We'll give more chances to the Muslims and the Christians. We do not discriminate in the sense of allowing you to call. Please call 248-416-1300. And yes, we have a lot of callers waiting. I realize that. Let's take the next one right now. Welcome, you're on the air with Jesus or Muhammad.
Hi, this is Dr. Basil again. How are you guys?
Good. How are you, doctor?
Very good. You know, yesterday I called, if you remember, and somehow the line cut between us. So
I'm sorry about that. I don't know. Go right ahead.
It's okay. You know, I have just three quick comments.
Okay.
Comment number one. I know this program maybe is in a Christian channel, but I think the matter that how long each caller need to take is a matter how this caller is intelligent and how he can argue. Not is this caller Christian or Muslim, and
yes,
absolutely,
I agree.
Yeah, the purpose of this kind of program is very good, because if I'm a Muslim, I need to strengthen this belief by this argument, and I need to reach the truth. And sometimes Christian, if the Christian need to strengthen the truth, they need this kind of program and argument to look for the real truth. So I don't agree with the previous caller that if the caller is Muslim, don't give him much time. You know, it depends how intelligent is the program and how respectful is he.
Yes,
absolutely.
Now, yes, Brother Joseph. Now let me go to the point.
Yes.
Now about Muhammad, I hear you need some proof that why Muhammad is better than Joseph Smith, and you were asking about the miracles of Muhammad. I think one of his miracles is his survival. You know, he started as one. As you know, he went through Badr, battle, Uhud battle. They were very few, but God survived him. You know, he didn't die. And you remember Ma'arakat al-Khandaq, when all the people in Al Jazeera al-Arabiya, collected armies to the Medina to kill him. But, the history is telling us that there was a wind and they killed those armies and they saved Muhammad. So I think survival of him is really a good proof.
And Dr. Basil, very quickly, what about the fact that the hadith, especially Sahih al-Bukhari, the most respected Sunni hadith, says that Muhammad was actually poisoned by a Jewish woman, and when he died, some 3 years later, he told those around him that the sickness you see in me comes from that poisoned piece of meat that I ate with your brother, I think it was Bashir. So there's no doubt about it, out of the mouth of Muhammad, the Jewish woman got the better of Muhammad and poisoned him. So, yeah, he did survive for a time, but 63 is not that old, and he was killed by his enemy.
That's right, but he was killed after he ended his message. The message was ended. The Quran was completed.
The Quran was completed because Muhammad died. There's a difference. If Muhammad had lived another 10 years, there'd have been a lot more revelations.
Okay, let me tell you something. Muhammad died on something called Hajjat al-Wada', when he went to Hajj, and he was giving like a speech, and it sounded, people there cried because it sounded like it's the last speech for him, and he was saying, I think I'm not going to see you guys next year. So listen,
our friend, what we're pointing out is that Muhammad was poisoned. The poison didn't kill him immediately, but he got worse and worse and worse. His health, he was physically deteriorating. He was getting worse and worse. He always felt, in other words, what this poison would have done, presumably, is mess up some of his internal organs. the way some harmful drugs can do. And over a period of time, this deteriorates him. He was kind of old, he couldn't take it, and ultimately he died. But he would be feeling the effects of this as time goes on, and he would recognize, I'm not going to live forever. This poison is killing me. So there's nothing miraculous about this. And besides, I mean, think about what you're saying. Your argument so far has been Muhammad survived many battles, therefore he's a prophet. First of all, how many people in history survived many battles? How many people survived all through the Civil War? If Muhammad's a prophet, why isn't Abu Bakr? He survived through all the same battles. Why isn't Uthman? Why isn't Ali? Why isn't Umar? These people survived through all of the same battles. Many of Muhammad's followers survived through all of the same battles. You wouldn't say, therefore, they're prophets. That would never occur to you. It would never occur to me to say Alexander the Great must be a prophet because he conquered so much land between Greece and India. None of this would ever occur to our minds. What I find in Islam is that Muslims will appeal to basically anything about Muhammad and somehow use it as an argument that he's a prophet, when if we actually believe the argument, we'd have to believe that thousands and thousands of people who obviously aren't prophets, thousands of people today are prophets. So in other words, for the past 1,400 years, people have been surviving many battles. Think about Sergeant York. This guy fought the entire German army by himself and came back safe and sound. Therefore, he must be a prophet.
He captured 121 Germans by himself.
By himself.
Yeah. But anyways, okay, Dr.
Muhammad
Basso.
never did that. Muhammad never did that.
Dr. Basso, you go ahead and continue.
Yes, now I understand. But if we compare Muhammad with Hitler or with Alexander, the effect now, I'm in 2010, right? There is a lot of Muslims, they are still following the rules that Muhammad was teaching. So the effect of Muhammad's message still living with us. Alexander is gone. Hitler is gone. No one is following him. So this way, Muhammad is different because the effect of his teaching is still...
Okay. Well, one second, our friend. Now, as a Muslim, you probably reject the teachings of the Apostle Paul, but the teachings of the Apostle Paul are still having an impact on the world. The teachings of Hinduism, the teachings of the Buddha are all still having an impact on the world. The teachings of Confucius, the teachings of Lao Tzu, all of these teachings are still having an impact on the world. In other words, it's the exact same point I just made with your other argument. Muslims take one fact about Muhammad, he survived many battles, but that would make a lot of people prophets. Or that Muhammad's teachings are still having an impact on the world even after so long. Well, that would mean that the Apostle Paul is a prophet. That would mean that that Buddha was a prophet because their teachings are still having an impact. Notice the same problem. Muslims will take some fact about Muhammad and use it as an argument to prove that he's a prophet, when if that argument is correct, tons of people who are still prophets.
Okay, Dr. Bassel, give us your other arguments, and then we're going to have to move on, sir.
Okay, my other argument is going to be quick about the jizya. The army. What I understand when I read about the jizya or the army tax, when the rule was when there is Christians living in a Muslim community, in a Muslim country, Muslims are required to defend the country from other enemies. So this jizya, the reason why Christians were paying it is just army for tax, because they are not participating in the army, and the Muslims are required to protect them. So if a Christian chooses to go to the army, they will never pay the jizya. So this is what I would like to share with you, the purpose of the jizya.
But wait a minute, Dr. Basso, quickly, how does that prove the prophethood of Muhammad above a person like, for example, Joseph Smith?
Well, this is just because, this is not about that argument. This is from yesterday, because I heard you talking about the jizya. That's why I just wanted to say that.
Okay, Dr. Basso, we respect you and we thank you for your arguments, and we're going to have to move on to our next caller.
I have to comment on the jizya real quick.
Go ahead. Okay, David is going to comment on the jizya, and then we'll have to be done. So thank you, Dr. Basso, for calling. We're going to have to move to our next caller now. But just before we go to our next caller, Brother David will comment on what you just said about the jizya.
Yes, our friend has said that the jizya was paid. I don't know what this has to do with Islam being true or false, but he said that the jizya is paid as a tax because Christians aren't fighting in the army and it's for their protection. I know that's very common for Muslims to say that today, but that is not the position. That is not the position of the Muslim scholars.